Marvel Comics, December 1964. Stanley and the gang published 14 comics. We're on the newsstands with that cover date. We're going to look at all the superhero issues today, starting with Amazing Spider-Man number 19. This was the 200th Silver Age superhero comic put up by Marvel since they launched up in 1961. This issue is the first appearance of Mac Gargan. It's got a Stanley and Steve Ditko story. There is a 9.9 graded copy on CGC, which is unbelievable for a comic of this age. Print run estimated at 320,000 copies of this title at this time. This comic features a first appearance, and it ranks 22nd most valuable first appearance Marvel comic of 1964. On the CGC census, the grading has really been growing in the past few years. Over 2,000 copies now graded, and there are 54 9.6s or higher. Heritage has now sold 339 copies of this issue. It's got a tough cream white background cover. Comics were 12 cents at this time. You can also see the Human Torch and Sandman on the cover of this issue. Using the Overstreet Annual Price Guide year by year, we can look at prices for all conditions from low grade to high grade. And we can see that the book has been a very slow mover in low grades, but the book is soon to finally double in high grades raw, meaning not slabbed copies. If you want to see how the slabbed graded copies are doing for CGC and other companies, go to ebay.com and look up sold-ended auctions to see what prices are being brought on this book in high grades, as well as gpanalysis.com. On the census, there is 1 9.9 and 12 9.8s of this book. Next we have Avengers number 11. This featured an early Spider-Man crossover featured on the cover. We got a Jack Kirby cover art here. Print run estimated at 200,000 copies. Again, CGC climbing quickly lately. Almost 1,200 copies graded by CGC. 29 ranked 9.6 or higher. And Heritage has sold 196 copies in the last 20 years in their weekly auctions. The Overstreet Price Guide tells us the book has actually stalled in all grades in the last few years. But generally speaking, over a long period of time, we can see that the book has gone up about 2.5 times in high grades. There are 3 9.8s and 26 9.6s of this book. Daredevil number 5 was still a bi-monthly title at this time, and he's still in his original yellow costume. This is Wally Wood's first issue as an artist on this title, and he would eventually give him a makeover. There are 785 copies graded by CGC on the census of this book, only 16 ranking 9.6 or higher. Heritage has sold 158 copies. The Overstreet Price Guide has almost no movement over the years in low grade. It's only gone up $2 in 17 years in the lowest grades raw. In high grades, we can see the book has more than doubled. On the census, there are only 2 9.8s, but 14 9.6s. Fantastic Four 33 was now Marvel's longest-running Silver Age title. It features the first appearance of Atuma. Submariner also appears. This is a partial photo cover, which was unique at the time. Jack Kirby cover art. Print run estimated at 300,000 copies. 566 graded by CGC with 17 9.6 or higher. Heritage has now sold 90 copies of this book. In the Overstreet Price Guide, we can see again, in all grades, this book has been stalled for 7 years in a row in every grade from low to high. And there are 6 9.8s and 11 9.6s of this book. Journey into Mystery 111 featured the Thor. This was his 28th issue in a row, being the main feature of this title. This issue also features a Loki pinup, and Cobra and Mr. Hyde appearances, and Jack Kirby cover art. There are only 281 copies graded by CG of this book, 10 ranked 9.6 or higher. Heritage has sold 62 copies. In the Overstreet Price Guide, this is a very affordable book in all grades. Again, this one has also stalled in the last few years in all grades. There are no 9.8s of this book at all, and there are 10 9.6s. Also out on the newsstands was a bunch of teen titles and westerns, and we're going to skip those. We're going to jump to Sergeant Fury Number 13. Now this is a major key issue. Why is that? Well, look at the cover alone. We've got Captain America and Bucky in one of their earliest Silver Age appearances. This is Jack Kirby cover art. And look at the census. It's gone crazy lately. Over 1,000 copies graded. Only 69.6s or higher. Heritage has sold 161 copies. In Overstreet, there actually is been movement on this book, but still not a lot in lower grades. In high grades, the book has almost tripled. And on the census, there are 4 9.8s and 12 9.6s. Strange Tales 127 was the 27th issue in a row, featuring the Human Torch as the main feature story. And Mr. Fantastic and The Thing have a pin-up in this issue. Jack Kirby cover art. Print run estimated at 215,000 copies of this book. This also features a Doctor Strange backup feature, one of his early appearances. This is very low on the CGC census, only 126 copies graded, and only 7 9.6s or higher. Even though this isn't a major key issue, high-grade copies simply do not exist of this book. Heritage has only sold 33 copies of this book in 20 years. It's a very cheap, affordable book. It has almost doubled even in low grades, but still super affordable. It's slowly moving up in all grades. There are 1 9.8 and 6 9.6s of this book. Tales of Suspense, number 60. This was now featuring a double feature of Iron Man and Captain America in every issue. This was the second one. It features Jack Kirby cover art. Only 410 copies graded by CGC, 11 ranking 9.6 or higher, 88 sold by Heritage. Yellow background cover will make this one a tough one for finding spine wear, etc. In the Overstreet price guide, the book again has been stalled in all grades in the last few years, but generally speaking, in this time frame, it's almost doubled in low grades, and it has gone 2.5 times in high grades raw. There are 2 9.8s and 9 9.6s of this book. And finally, on the newsstands also this month, we have Tales to Astonish 62, featuring the third double feature of Giant Man and the Incredible Hulk. It's the first appearance of the longest forehead in all comics. The Leader debuts in this issue. We've got another Jack Kirby cover, and the Wasp has new headgear in her costume in this issue. Not too many copies graded by CGC, 304. Only 10 ranking 9.6 or higher. Heritage has sold 45 copies. Green background cover. In the Overstreet price guide, this book actually has been moving up steady in all grades, but still, again, a very affordable book. It's sneaking up in all conditions. There is 1 9.8 and 9 9.6s of this book. Now, comparing these books that were released this month, let's see which ones are the most common and the rare ones on the CGC census. Well, we noted that they all had 9.8 copies, except Journey into Mystery 111 did not have any. If we combine the 9.8s and 9.6s, we find that Amazing Spider-Man is in the lead by far, and Amazing Spider-Man 19 also is the only book to have a 9.9 copy. We had a bunch of first appearances this month. On the low end of the spectrum, Strange Tales 127 only has 126 copies graded. At the high end, Amazing Spider-Man 19 has over 2,000 copies graded. What an exciting month for Marvel, and the year of 1964 ends here. We do these history videos every day on this channel, so please subscribe, and I'd like to thank you for watching.